with Joey Blackwell. I'm Katie Windham here for just a minute. And, the other day I jokingly said on the All Things Bama podcast the day before or the morning of the national championship game that Georgia would win by 50. And that is actually what happened. It was actually more than 50 points. Quite the blowout we saw in LA the other night. And so, Joey, it kind of led me to the question, do you think once the playoff expands to 12 teams in a couple of years that we will see more competitive CFP games, that we will see better quality, more competitive CFP championship games?
Well, first off, Katie, remind me after this is over that I want you to kind of tell me what stocks you think are going to be on the rise, because I need to invest some money after that prophetic prediction. But I think that with the college football playoff expanding to 12 teams, a lot of people's knee-jerk reactions were, "Oh, well, this will help allow more teams that deserve to get in. That'll kind of get rid of the whole bubble conversation of, Bama being at 5 this year would have been a problem. They still would have made the playoff as a mid-tier seed." I think we're still going to have those issues. It's just shifted down to now we're looking at 12 and 13 instead of 4 and 5. Yes, there are going to be more deserving teams that are able to get in. Bama will probably not miss a playoff for the foreseeable future once that's kicked in. But I think the problems that still exist with the CFP are still there. Now, as far as the competitive matchups, the question that you asked, I really think that there's potential for the first round games to kind of be what we saw between TCU and Georgia. I really think that, you're going to have a 12. Well, I guess the current with the format, I think the first 4 teams get a bye, correct? And then 5 through 12 will have to play each other. 5, if you had done that this year, I think that would have been a 5 seed. Actually, it would have been exactly the same, right? It would have been Bama playing Kansas State was 12, correct?
Well, Kansas State would have been, I think, seeded differently because they're a conference champion.
Well, let's assume that would be what happened, right? You have the 12 ranked team versus the 5 ranked team.
And we saw what happened.
Yeah, we saw what happened. And I think you'll see a lot of that. So I think overall, you're still going to see a lot of games happen that way. But, there's still potential for, upsets, Cinderella stories. You could see a 10th ranked TCU make it to the championship game, but there's still the possibility that what happened happens again. So I don't really believe it solves the problem. I think there's still disparity. You have a lot less disparity if you take the top 4 teams. But, there's a lot more potential for upsets and some great headlines. So I'm for it. I'm not necessarily against it, but the disparity in college football in the playoff isn't going to be going away anytime soon. If anything, it's going to be getting worse.
Yeah, look, besides this year we finally saw 2 good semifinal games, 2 close games, 2 back and forth, really 2 that came down to essentially the last drive. But most years, even in the 14 playoff, the semifinals have been complete blowouts. So, I think maybe with the 12-team format, we'll hopefully see more competitive championship games because it'll be teams that have had to work their way there a little more, had to win more games. So hopefully we won't see another 65-7 because ultimately the college football playoff cannot be happy with the product that was on the field Monday night. I think I saw on Twitter that this was like the lowest rated TV rating championship game in the CFP era. The ratings obviously just plummeted once Georgia pulled ahead because why would someone want to watch that? So I think they know not necessarily that they have a problem to fix, even though they're always trying to tweak the playoff format, but I think hopefully with the 12-team format, we'll at least see some more competitive championship games, even though I know Alabama fans don't have any problems when they're blowing out teams like they did against Ohio State in 20. But that was obviously an interesting and bizarre season in and of itself, with Ohio State playing 5 regular season games that year because of COVID. But, like you said, Joey, I'm sure Alabama will be in those 12-team playoffs for many years to come, as long as Saban is the head coach, or even with whoever his predecessor is, just with the talent in Tuscaloosa. But that'll wrap up today's Just a Minute. Thank you so much for watching.